second episode of Click and Connect. Today's Click and Connect topic is about card replacement, how to apply online, require documents, and how to book your appointment and more. Be sure to share today's episode and ask a question about card replacement in the comment section to win prizes. Now handing over to our presenter, Mrs. Moeva Fuller, Corporate Relations Officer.
Registration is a core function, and there are three categories of registration. The first type of registration has to do with the issuance of Social Security numbers. This is whereby persons receive a unique 9-digit number that is always theirs. It is known as your Social Security number, and it is often placed on your Social Security card. So what you need to know about this Social Security number is that it is always yours. It will never change regardless of the situation. If you lose your card, if your card is damaged, whatever occurs, the number is always yours, and that is the number that you should use for all Social Security business that you conduct with us. So the other type of registration now refers to the registration of employers and businesses. Now, if you are an employer and you have persons in your employ who work for 8 or more hours a week, you need to register with Social Security as an employer and go through the registration process. This allows you to pay the necessary contributions for your employees. Now, the third type of registration has to do with self-employed persons registering themselves to be a part of the Social Security program. You have to understand now that the registration of businesses and employers is different from the registration of self-employed persons because they are two separate programs with separate qualifying conditions and separate criteria. Now let's talk about the persons who are eligible to receive a Social Security card and a subsequent card replacement. The first category of persons are Born Belizeans. Now, as the name implies, these are individuals who are born in Belize. The second category of persons are foreign-born persons with permanent residency status. Under that classification, this refers to persons who are naturalized Belizeans, persons who are permanent residents of Belize, and persons who are CARICOM nationals who hold a CSME definite entry of state stamp. Now, additional persons who can obtain a Social Security card are foreign-born persons with temporary residency status and the right to work in Belize, refugee card holders, condition stamp holders, special permit holders with condition stamps, temporary employment permit holders, persons who are temporary residents with permit holders, and those who have a student permit and those who have a dependent permit. So those are the categories of persons who can obtain a Social Security card and a subsequent card replacement. So if you fall in the category of a Born Belizean and you need to replace your Social Security card, let me tell you about the documents that you're going to need to present. You have the option to submit your Belizean passport, and it must be a valid Belizean passport. If you don't have a valid Belizean passport, you can then submit your birth certificate or an adoption certificate if you are adopted, and a valid photo ID. Now, both of these documents must be presented in the original form. If you are a married woman, you need to present your marriage certificate as well, and it needs to be the one that is issued by the Vital Statistics Unit. It cannot be the one that you would have received when you got married at your church or wherever the marriage occurred. It has to be the registered document from the Vital Statistics Unit. Now, I want to also make mention that persons who already have a Social Security card, this isn't their first registration, they're actually going through the replacement process. They can use their expired Social Security card as a form of photo ID. If you're unable to provide any photo ID now, you can present a recent 2x2 color photograph where a Justice of the Peace is going to indicate on the reverse side of that photo, I certify that this is a true likeness of, they're going to insert your name, and they're also going to indicate the number of years they have known you for, and it will read, and I have known him or her for X number of years. So again, the documents you need to replace your Social Security card as a Born Belizean can be one of two things. You can either use your Belizean passport, a valid Belizean passport, or your birth certificate and a valid photo ID. So now we're going to talk about some general card information that will be important for you to know about the Social Security card. Now, when it comes to the validity of the card, cards issued to children, and when we say children, we're referring to persons under the age of 14, those cards are not valid for employment and they will expire the day before the child's 14th birthday. Cards issued to persons who are 14 years or older are valid for employment, and those cards do not bear an expiration date. Simply put, they never expire. Now, the photograph on the Social Security card and the signature, only persons who are 14 years or older need to present themselves at the Social Security office in your area to have their photograph captured and their signature recorded. If you are under the age of 14, you do not need to present yourself, as the image will not be captured, nor will your signature be needed for the card. The fee for the application is going to be $26, so all replacement cards after the first issue bear a cost of $26. Now, if it's your first issuance of a Social Security card and you are Born Belizean, that comes free of cost, so you do not pay anything to obtain your first Social Security card as a Born Belizean. You can access the My Social Security Self-Service portal on our website under Online Services, where you will see the tab My Social Security Self-Service Portal. So you're going to select Create an Account. You are going to provide the necessary information. You create your account, and after your account has been activated, you are then going to sign back into that newly created account. You are going to select the tab Card Replacement on the menu. You are then going to select the reason for the replacement, be it your card was lost, stolen, damaged, or expired. You indicate which one of those options apply, and you then choose the date, the time, and the branch office for your appointment. And you must remember to bring all the original documents with you on your appointment date. So again, the card replacement fee is $26, and to apply, you can use our My Social Security Self-Service Portal, which is user-friendly and it's easy to follow to create your account and to book your appointment to visit the office. Here's a visual of the My Social Security Self-Service Portal in order for you to see what it looks like and the various steps that you can follow. So again, the first step, it requires you to sign into the newly created account. Thereafter, you are going to click on the card replacement option that is available, which will then allow you to indicate the reason for the card replacement, and you are going to select the relevant option. If it's lost, expired, damaged, whatever the change may be, you select the reason for the replacement, and after you've selected that reason, you will then be prompted to another screen that allows you to choose the date, the time, and the branch office for your appointment to visit the office to replace your Social Security card. And once again, you must remember to take the original documents with you that we talked about earlier on, which include your valid Belizean passport or your birth certificate and a form of photo ID. So if after you've gone through the process to create your My Social Security Self-Service Portal account and you encounter any hesitation, you can feel free to refer to the Frequently Asked Questions document that we have on the portal itself under the Help section. As an alternative, you can chat to one of our friendly agents via our website at socialsecurity.org.bz. Additionally, the document is there as well under Frequently Asked Questions on our website. So you can always refer to that if you have any hiccups, any glitches, any issue that you need to sort out when you're trying to create your portal account. Welcome back to episode 2 of Click and Connect. If you're just joining the conversation, today we're talking about the card replacement process for Born Belizeans. The expert that I have with me today is Mr. Arnaldo Villas. Mr. Villas is a senior manager here at the Social Security Board, and he works at the Belmopan branch office. He is here to offer his expert support on all your registration-related questions, so we want to get straight into it to not waste any time. Let's see what the questions have here. We have some questions from Evian, and Evian wants to know if a new Social Security, if I want a new photograph, do I only need to pay the $26 to have the card replaced? She also wants to know, do I need a police report to get a replacement card if my card is lost or stolen? Those are her two questions.
So I should answer, okay,
Yes.
very well. Yes, good morning, everyone. The short answer to Evian's question is yes, you need to pay $26 to have your card replaced. And no, you do not need a police report to get a replacement card if your card is lost or stolen. That we have taken that requirement off the list, so you don't need to go for a police report.
All right. Another question here from her reads, will I get a new Social Security number if my card is lost or stolen, or does the number remain the same? So Evian, your number always remains the same. The first time that you register with Social Security, you receive a unique 9-digit number that is always yours, and it will never change regardless if the card is expired, lost, stolen, whatever the scenario may be. That is always your Social Security number. So we move on to a question here from Dina. Dina wants to know if she can work and pay Social Security with an expired card.
In order to pay Social Security, you need a number. Like Moeva explained a couple seconds ago, that number remains in your, for you for the rest of your life, from the womb to the tomb. So yes, you can pay with an expired card, but we encourage everyone to renew their cards as they expire. It's worth mentioning that at this point in time, the new cards do not have an expiration date, so they are valid for life. But the Act does ask that the employers hire people with a valid Social Security card. So you can pay Social Security, but it's best that you have a valid card on your person at all times.
Alrighty. Haven wants to know, how long does it take to apply for a replacement card? So the processing time for a replacement card, Haven, is 5 business days, okay? And I noticed you also have another question here, and you said that many clients have tried to sign up through the self-service portal, but were not successful. How can we go about getting an appointment otherwise? Okay, that's a very good question. You want me to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Alrighty, so persons who try to sign up via the self-service portal and run into any potential issues, we encourage those persons to contact our helpful customer care team, and they provide you with the relevant support, because it may be a simple error such as you probably would not have used the calendar that's embedded in the portal, which you must use, or your password does not meet the requirements that it needs to meet in order for it to proceed, okay? So those are 2 of the common issues that we find when persons are unable to access the portal. But to answer the second half of your question, persons who, regardless of them trying over and over and over and they still face these limitations, they can call the Social Security office in their area, and a helpful customer service agent will help them and provide them with support and give them a telephone-assisted appointment for them to go through the registration process. Okay, we have one here from Erwin, and Erwin says, I lost my card. What all do I need to bring along with me?
For a card replacement, once we have the documents, your documents in the system already, you wouldn't have to bring anything. But if you don't have anything, if you don't have the documents in the system, we would ask you to kindly bring in a valid passport or your birth certificate along with a photo ID. But like I mentioned, I believe it is since 2010, we have been scanning documents. So the purpose of scanning those documents would be that we would have in a system, and so when you need a replacement, then you can come in straight to the office, pay your $26, give the required information, and just get your card replaced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Dana wants to know, what are the benefits of having a card for her child? And that is an excellent question, Dana. So, as you know, a social security card exists for you to claim benefits, for your employers to pay contributions on your behalf, but it goes a little bit further than that. It also serves as a type of national ID. It's an identification that your child can have, and you can have them one step ahead by giving them their social security number, so that whenever they do enroll in school, you do not have to worry about getting the social security number on the card, because the schools tend to ask for that. Now, also, if your child is in need of any benefit that we have to offer here at the Social Security Board, your child is also one step ahead because they're already registered with the program. So essentially, it serves as a national ID for children who are under 14 and they do not work. They're not allowed to work at this point in time. They're minors. So it serves as an identification that schools will ask for, perhaps the passport office asks as well, and other institutions. Let me see what else we have here.
If I can interject to add there,
Sure,
Mo,
definitely.
do you remember the national health insurance as well? The national health insurance is almost countrywide, especially South, Belize City,
Yes,
Corozal.
yes, you're right.
And that's what the one of the ideas that they ask for, the
Definitely.
social security card.
Definitely. And just to clarify that, the national insurance that he's referring to is the NHI services that we offer, where persons who are registered can get medical support.
That's right.
Medical support. Let me see what else we have here. Rubicelli wants to know if there is a link to make the appointment or if it is by a phone number. How can she make an appointment? How can she do that, Mr. Vias?
I think I have touched on it briefly before, but then just to repeat, it's you create your account with Social Security on my Social Security self-service portal, and then you can go ahead and make your appointment at the end of the entire process. Or, like we said, like Moeva rightly mentioned, if you're having difficulties in extreme circumstances, you can call the office and ask us to assist with an appointment as well.
Yes, definitely. And you can access the portal via Social Security's website. That is at socialsecurity.org.bz, and under the tab Online Services, you will see the My Social Security link that you're going to select, and that takes you directly to the portal for you to sign up. And after you've signed up and your account has been activated, you then are able to go back in and schedule your appointment. Okay. Alexandria wants to know, what are the main documents for Born Belizeans to do a card replacement? Okay.
Alexandria, you're asking specifically about the card replacement. So I want to touch about the new, well, I can probably touch briefly on the new applications. For a new applicant, somebody who has never had a social security number, we ask that you present to us a birth certificate or an adoption certificate, because they go hand in hand, I mean birth certificate or an adoption certificate, along with photo ID. The photo ID can take the form of a voter's ID, valid driver's license. You can bring in a passport as well as a photo ID, but you need that birth certificate for the first time registration. Then in your case, for a card replacement, like I mentioned before, it might be that your documents are already in the system, so you would not need to bring them again. But if you have not, we don't have a document in the system, which would be anytime before 2010, more or less, then you would need to bring in either a valid passport or a passport that expired not more than a year ago, or you can also bring in a birth certificate and a photo ID for the replacement, and of course, pay the $26.
Yes. All right, so Gladys wants to know, how about replacements for children under 18? What is required? So we need to make a quick distinction here, Gladys. With Social Security, minors for us are persons under the age of 14. And those under the age of 14, the documents that they need to replace a Social Security card or even to apply for it would be their birth certificate or a valid Belizean passport and the ID of the parent, and the ID needs to be a valid ID. Now, if your child is between the age of 14 to 18, since that's what you asked about, that person is considered an insured person who will receive a card that is eligible for employment, and the documents that they'll need to present is slightly different because we are going to then put a photograph on their social security card, so we need to verify their identity. So they would need to present a birth certificate or a valid Belizean passport and a photo ID. Now, if you're really young, we understand that you might not have a voter's ID because you don't qualify or you won't even have a driver's license. So what these persons can do is they can use a 2x2 photograph, and on the reverse side of that photograph, a justice of the peace is going to indicate that they know the person and the number of years that they have known the person for. So we're going to use that photograph along with the birth certificate. If they don't have the birth certificate but they have a valid Belizean passport, we use that as well. And again, the replacement fee will be $26. Haven.
In regards to the photograph more, as well, you need to mention that the JP, the Justice of the Peace, needs to know the person at least 5 years.
Yes.
For at least 5 years.
Yes. And they're going to indicate specifically, I certify that this is a true likeness of, they're going to put the person's name, and I have known him or her for, and they indicate the number of years, which needs to be a minimum of 5 years, as Mr.
That's right.
Riaz has
That's
mentioned.
right.
Definitely. All right, Haven wants to know if there's any WhatsApp number available for us to contact. At this time, Haven, we do not have a WhatsApp line, but we are actively working to have one implemented in the near future, so we can see what 2022 brings for Social Security. We're working hard to get more channels available for you guys to get customer support. Alrighty. Rubicelli wants to know, she says, for example, if we need the gold card when we get old, and we have one that doesn't expire, how would this work? Do we get a new card or will it stay the same?
All right. A couple of months ago, the gold card was kind of, if I use the word phased out loosely, we no longer give a gold card as such, because if you remember, the gold card was a gold colored card, as the name implied, right? Mm-hmm. But right now we're issuing the same card. It looks the same for the persons over 65 years and older. So in short, we no longer use the gold card.
Yes.
We do also have the gold then citizen program, which is some business would give preferential access and kind of discounts to the golden citizens. It still applies. The businesses participating would still give the persons with that same card. It's the same, just it looks like a normal card.
Yes, because what qualifies the senior citizen, so to speak, for the discount would be their age. It's not necessarily the color of the card. So you can have the regular Social Security card, and by regular we're referring to the standard white card, but as long as they can determine that you are 65 years or older, which they can do using the date of birth on the card, you still will be eligible to receive your discounts at the participating businesses. Okay, Kian is asking if we need to submit a police report for a lost Social Security card. Did we answer that one as
We
yet?
did, and the short answer is no longer.
Fantastic. Deshaun wants to know, does a person need to be vaccinated to enter the Social Security office?
Yes, you need to present the vaccination card. It can either be the first shot, you have gotten your first dose, and then it's the time for the second shot has not expired, or you are fully vaccinated. Or you can also produce a negative test to enter the office. We are going in accordance with the SI that the government of Belize, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, issued to the country of Belize, and we are a statutory board, so we have to comply with that SI.
Alrighty, so we have an international question here from Kush. Kush says, we live abroad. Can we apply online?
Not at this moment. Not at this moment. Apply. I'm supposing that apply means apply for the card.
Yes.
You can apply for benefits. You can apply like for your retirement benefit. You can go do it online. But for the card at this point in time, we don't, because we need to come into the office. Every registration process ends at the office. Mm-hmm. So you need to come in and either take a picture or sign for a change of address, sign for a change of name for the married women and things like that. So you will need to have an in-person assistance at the office to end the process,
Yeah.
to complete the process.
Yeah, so Kush, if by any point in time, perhaps you plan on coming to Belize, let's say in the next 2 months, you can start the process using the self-service portal. However, the process must end, as Mr. Vias has
Right.
mentioned, with
Well,
a
yeah.
face-to-face interaction. So you must be in Belize for the process to be completed. But you can start it online using the self-service portal and schedule your appointment so that it aligns with the dates that you are going to be in the country. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions. You guys, don't be afraid. Ask your questions. Remember, any questions that you ask, and if you share the live, you enter in our raffle to win $50 and a duffel bag. So let's see if we're gonna get any more. Well, I don't see a question right now, but I can ask you a question, Mr. Vias, that we tend to get a lot of.
We have one more.
Okay, we
came
have
in.
one that came in. All right, fantastic. This is from Flores. They said, I need to renew my social security card, but I do not want to apply online since I did it last time and I am still waiting.
Well, I really like to see the situation, because once you start the process online, and you go through the entire process, that is creating your account, getting access to your account, submitting your application online, the last step, like I mentioned earlier, it would be the making an appointment to come to the office. And you use the embedded calendar, and that comes directly to a customer service agent and to us as supervisors, and we will be waiting on you to come in to finish the process. But if you not complete the process, Flores, it's Flores?
Yeah, Flores.
Yeah, if you did not complete the process, then you can start it over and make an appointment to come in. If you, like I mentioned before, if you have any problems doing it, completing the application for some reason, maybe your password's not working anymore or something happened, then you can, like Moeva mentioned, you can call us at the office, any branch office, and make an appointment to come to the office of your choice and do the entire process here.
Yeah, because we recognize that sometimes errors occur, challenges occur, so we still
Technology.
offer other channels, that is, for persons to receive the support that they need. We have one here from Kyla Kam, I think this is, she says, why when an email address is in use in the portal, another person can't use that email address? All right, so your portal account is similar to your social security number.
Unique.
It is unique and it's specifically for you. And that is why when persons sign up using the portal, we encourage that you use your email address for your portal account, because that email address will always be linked to a particular email, to a particular portal account. So that would be the challenge that you're facing, Kyla. If you use your email address for someone else's account, it's forever linked to that person's account that you
Except
use.
for probably your kids
Yes.
under 40, you can also use that email address or the portal account to apply for their card as well.
When you apply for your kids using the portal, you are actually going to create your portal account as the parent if your kids are under the age of 14. So what you do in that process, you sign up, you give us your personal information, you get the account activated, you then log back into the portal account and you select the register icon that's on the dashboard, and you then provide us with your child's information. So the accounts will be linked. It will be your account and your minor child's account is linked to yours. Deshaun says, what all is needed for a person who is divorced and wants to change their name?
In that aspect, in that respect there, Deshaun, sorry, we ask that you present a divorce certificate or the decree absolute showing that you have been divorced,
Yeah.
right? You would need to present that paper, that document.
Alrighty, Kumar. Sure. Kumar is asking a question that we've already answered, but we can briefly go over it once again. Kumar wants to know if when you change your does your social security number change when you replace the card? The short answer is no, that will always be your number. Okay, Kumar, it never changes. And Gladys wants to know if we can explain a little bit more for the cards of children 15 years of age. So they get an ID with valid employment. Please explain.
From the age of 14, the card that that person gets, like Moeva explained, At Social Security for us, 14 and over are considered adult as such, right? So that person would get a card with the legend valid for employment. So we are guided again by the Labor Act, the International Labor Organization, which does permit persons working from age 14, but there are certain jobs that a child at age 14 can hold. For example, cannot work at a restaurant because it's not acceptable. They can have certain jobs and they are specified in the by the International Labor Organization.
All right, so this is a follow-up question from Kyla. She says, okay, thanks. And in the event a person wants to update his or her personal email from what is already listed in the portal, how can they go about doing that? So that can be done, Kyla, but we will need you to reach out to us, and you can do that using our Messenger account or our live chat feature on our website. And we will then get our highly helpful and useful IT department involved, and we will make the necessary changes, okay? All right, I think we are out of time for today. So we received quite a number of questions today, quite a number of excellent questions that we are happy to have responded to. And we are going to wrap up now. So we want to say many thanks to all those who participated and who shared with us today. We will be sharing the 3 lucky winners this afternoon, okay? So stay tuned and remember to click with us here at Social Security. Connect with us on Facebook. We look forward to keeping you informed and empowered. Click and connect.